Hello there again, this is Reg from Micro Grinder, and today I'm going to be playing 4 tables of 20 now speed poker on the IPoker network. Just to change up a little bit, play with some stats. I've played here over the weekend to try and build up some stats, so when we actually come to doing a video, we can actually try and use some stats on some regulars so I can help explain my thought process better than I can when I'm on 888, and I'm just explaining thought processes on basic reads on players that may or may not be accurate. Here on this board, this guy just called me twice. I'm just going to bet a little bit smaller than pot on the river. I'm not going to fall to a race, even though I expect to be beat quite a bit of the time. The pot's going to be too big. I'm going to be getting too much of a good price. Not that sure what I can get called by, to be honest. It may be a bad bet. But I'm not in love with this, but there's a very good chance he's going to have Jack 10, I guess. But I'm getting 2.5 to 1 on the call. So I only had aces, which is an interesting line from him. I don't particularly like it, but it's interesting. And that's what I've found about these games so far, is they are a little bit tougher than the 888 games, but we're compensating for the fact they're a little bit tougher by actually having stats. So that does, whereas we might be have a slightly not as many fish in the games, we're going to do slightly better against the regulars because we're going to have better reads on them and hopefully be able to exploit them better than they can exploit us. I'm not sure if I'm going to make these games my permanent games because 20L is too low for me, but at the moment 15L doesn't seem to run, so I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. I have quite a sweet rate back deal on here, which will compensate me slightly, and the fact that I've been 7 tabling them really quite comfortably, when I could only 3 tabling in 888. That could also increase my hourly, but I don't particularly want to go down to playing just 20NL. But I guess it's all about hourly, so maybe you could, who knows? If I can have the same hourly 7 table in these and get a bit of rate back, that I can have 3 table in 50NL. Who knows? Maybe it's something I could think about. This guy's re-raised me. Typically, he's going to have a strong hand here. He's given me such a good price to outflop him, flop 2 pair or something, that I'm going to make a loosish call. But there we go. Who cares? He's just done that there. It's probably just had aces, I would guess. And even though if I put him on aces there, I'm getting such a good odds and such good implied odds. If I do believe he's going to have aces a lot. I mean, I think it's one of those calls we just have to make and just hope to hit, really. Maybe in squeeze to you by someone I don't have that many hands on. I'm going to quite a lot going at once here. I'm going to call the squeeze. I'm going to call this min raise. And then we've been re-squeezed again. Now this looks a lot like bullshit to me, to be completely honest. It really does. But I mean, the guy's got that higher 3 bet. Maybe he's slow played something, but I don't know. I think he's probably more likely he's got a pocket pair there and could have profitably jammed there. This guy's check raised and checked. I'm now just going to double barrel. If he check raises me again, he's stuck to me in. Good luck to him. I know I've run the chance of not realising my equity share here by doing this, but he's check me raised a flop, which could be bluffy. And when you see a check raise and I see a check again on the turn, I tend to think people have got more of a weak range. So now we're just going to go for a really big value bet and hope he's got Jack X. I hope my initial read was wrong. But I think he may have had some kind of like crappy flush draw that he's trying to play aggressively but just got his sizing wrong. Who knows? It's sort of a typical line, check min raise flop and then check turn. It's not a line we see very often. Usually when I do see it, this kind of thing happens, people tend to just be our bluff that they've given up on, or they've checked min raise for value, for like to find out where they're at, or they've done something weird with a weakish range. So, like I said, I did run the risk of getting blown off my equity by opening up another check raise opportunity to him. I just didn't expect to see a check raise too often. It seems I haven't played much of this time of night before on here because we're not getting too many people that have got some hands on. When I'm 3-bet from the small blind, when I'm using stats, I kind of like to know someone's folded to 3-bets at least 60%. I don't have the reads yet on some of these players. But it is what it is. At least if I screw up, it's only 20 now. So there is that side to it. The screw up's costing me less. I'm not going to see about this board. It's a board I think I'm going to get check raised on a lot, or I'm just not going to get too many folds on. So I'm just going to check back and hopefully hit a queen or a spade or an ace. I'll be that happy hitting a king. And now I'm just going to fold. I don't have an issue with my line here. Let's see what much else I could have done. No c-bet stats on this guy yet. I probably should just explain my HUD if I'm not having played with the HUD before. My top line is BPIP, PFR, steal and fold to steal. My second line, let me just see if I'm going to squeeze here. This guy's got quite a high fold to 3-bet. Yes, I am going to squeeze here. Second line is 3-bet percentage and fold to 3-bet percentage. Third line is c-bet in position, c-bet out of position. And fourth line is call c-bet in position, call c-bet out of position. It's a very basic HUD. I do believe in keeping things simple. I'd rather keep things simple than force myself to open the HUD up. I'm not going to c-bet this board against someone who's double called who looks like they could be a fish. I'm just pretty much just giving up now. Yeah, I do like to keep HUD simple. And then, if there's a specific stat that I need, I'd rather take my time and go and look for it. This guy is also a fair few c-bets, so I'm going to. He falls less in position than out of position, but I'm going to definitely 3-bet him. This guy's sample size is too small to have that reliable 4 to c-bet number of 67, so I'm just going to 3-bet him. Because I don't have enough. No, if he had a higher 4 to c-bet, 3-bet, I would have just called there. But because we didn't know that, I'm just going to take the immediate value now. I'll try and take it. I'm just going to double barrel now against this Grace character. He's checked back the flop, which is a good indication he doesn't really like his hand too much. He absolutely snap caught me there, which could mean he has a diamond draw, which could mean he probably has some kind of draw or a weak made hand. I don't think he's ever going to be too strong. The diamonds have got there, which is a tad unfortunate. But I'm still going to try and bluff. Just to get him up better ace highs. Maybe some pocket like 6s or something like that. 7's another hand I was hoping he may fold. He didn't, which is unfortunate, but whatever. Against my range there, he's not going to be doing too well. Seems to be a lot of calling from the blinds here. This one is a bit closer. But it's a hand that's going to play well multi-way, so I'm fine with it. Here I'm going to check raise this because this guy's at 100% c-bet so far. And I will probably barrel just about every turn. Can't think of many turns I won't barrel here. Certainly a king or an 8, an ace. Yeah, to the point, it's a check raise, barrel a lot of turns. Obviously, if he 3-bets me, then depending on the price, I may well fold. The problem I've given myself here is I've just noticed his stack size, which is a bad mistake. I should have noticed it earlier. His stack size isn't really conducive to this line. Because any better mate now probably going to be priced into call. So maybe it would have been better just calling the flop. But we'll just bet and call it off now because I've kind of put myself in a situation where I don't have much choice. This action is fast for table, that is for sure. I don't think I'm ever going to get him to fold a jack here. So I think I may actually just give up. If he had a larger stack, if he had like $10 or $11 left, I would shove for sure. But I just don't think with 6 he's going to fold a jack. So I don't see it happening, so I'm just giving up now. Yeah, he was never going to fold that hand in a million years. So my mistake there is to check raise on the flop because I just didn't pay attention to his stack size. Had I realised he had a much shorter stack, I would not have gone for that line. But these are the mistakes you make when you're feeling under pressure, trying to commentate whilst playing other hands too, so whatever. I'm not going to cry too much about it. This guy's folded to 100% of 3-bets so far. This guy could be a fish, but he's got no money. We're just going to 3-bet. I don't even mind very much if this guy folds. It's ace king, it's pleasant, but I'm not the sort of guy who gets married to ace king. Again, the flop has not cooperated with us at all. We do have the backdoor flush draw though, which is kind of interesting. Why are we doing a lot of 3-bet in this session? Well, a lot by my standards anyway. I'm going to fold the ace 10 because so far this guy does not exactly look particularly active in the steal department and his stack. He's just going to give him a chance to jam on me. I don't really want to get it in with ace 10. Here I'm just going to see bet because of my 2 overs and backdoor flush draw. And now I have to decide whether I'm going to barrel off or not. And the short answer to that is probably not. That is not a good turn card for me to continue this line on. So now I'm just going to check. He may check back. We just check back. Kind of what range do we put him on now? Do we think we can make him fold a pocket pair here? Is it worth just going for the overbet shove? And hopefully try and make him fold a hand like 2 9s. And the time bank run out, which is a little bit unfortunate. Because I think it may have worked. I wasn't definitely going to go for it. And yeah, I'm kind of surprised people are calling 3-bets with hands as weak as 9-7, but actually it's proof that you're in good games. So, well, this guy, well, it's a small sample size, but if that sample size was accurate, I think 3-betting King Queen is a thin value as a bluff here. Mainly as a bluff. It's going to be good against somebody who's folding to 70% of 3-bets. I'm going to double barrel here against somebody who may or may not be a fish. And if I get raised, that was super easy fold. So these games are playing a little differently to what I've seen so far. I'm not seeing as many fish in this session as I shouldn't say fish. I'm not seeing as many recreational players in this session as I've seen in other sessions. Who knows, it may just be a sample size thing, it may be, could be a lot of reasons for that. But if the games are always like this, I'm not sure it would be worth my playing them versus 888. But I don't believe they are always like this. Quite often the pools can get up to 140 people in them. Currently there's 80 in it, so there's a fair chance. We are playing quite out of peak hours. It's 1:45 in the morning UK time. So a lot of the Western European recreational players will certainly be in bed by now. So I think I'm way more likely to be playing a more concentrated number of regulars. I'm not going to fold the 10-9 suited when we're 150 blinds deep to a 3-bet. And hopefully we can improve to the nuts and stack the guy. 8 of clubs, what a sexy card that would be. What a sexy card the 8 of clubs would be right now. Oh, we've been 3-bet up here, lots happening. First of all, call there. Well, 3 of clubs, it's not a bad alternative. But obviously going to put a really small 4-bet. Well, not obviously, but we're going to go for a really small 4-bet. I hope to induce some kind of action. I'm just going to call again here. I don't think we have that much fold equity when someone double barrels in a 3-bet pot. I think they're usually going to have quite a strong hand. So I think my fold equity is limited, but I'm getting 5-2. I'm getting more than the correct odds. And now we're just going to fold with a few bets again. I think we have a really easy fold. Here I'm just going to bet an amount that hopefully commits him. And I need to get a bit of a grip on this timing out situation because it's certainly costing me now. I need to just get my head around it. I think we could be beat here by jacks or queens. Kings, that's okay, good stuff. Call it here, yeah. I apologise for timing out, it's really not, it doesn't make for a good video. It really doesn't. But I need to just be a little bit more aware of it. 2 pair here, flush draw here. Easy call. This guy looks like he could well be a fish, so I'm just going to pay. I don't particularly see any point in 3-betting him. I'm just going to see about my 2 pairs. Oh wow, dunked into. Again, we just have really good odds to draw here and good implied odds. Did we hit? Yeah, we hit the worst possible straight, which isn't nice. That's a terrible turn card. I'm just going to check. This guy's put on a little bit in. So that's cost me 171 to play a pot in position against a fish. Wow, timed out again, right. I need to stop talking and start concentrating a lot more on my time bank. I probably would have folded there anyway, because I'm conscious that I don't want to keep just plopping money into pots against, you know, with no hand. Like, I mean, Jack 7 is no hand. Now, I think you want to make another video at these limits. I will absolutely just 2-table. But yeah, where we are now. How far into the video are we? Let me see. We're already 18 minutes in, so I don't particularly want to start afresh. I'm just 2-table. So we'll see it out, and I will definitely try not to time out again, because that's a couple of spots where we have timed out where I had a few options available to me. Here I'm going to 3-bet against somebody who at the moment has a reasonably high 4-3-bet number, although it means nothing over the sample size. I'm going to 3-bet him again here because it's the same guy, and I don't mind getting in someone's face. I'm going to 3-bet the same guy twice at 2 different tables. I quite like to be able to do it because I like to get in people's faces and hopefully try and get them to make some mistakes in future hands. Here I'd like to see what he does in this hand before. I don't just want to fall to him here if I can avoid it, but I think my time bank's going to betray me. I'd rather not have folded there, because it kind of shows weakness now for this one. It gives him an opportunity to encourage him to do it again, if he was turning us a bluff. But unfortunately, the guy there, who was just time banking the crap out of things, kind of saw that plan, but it didn't seem to hurt. This guy's got a high fold to C bet, again, small sample size, but if that was a true fold to C bet, I wouldn't be turning King Queen into a bluff. Against a 38-13 under the gun, I'm just going to 3-bet just to isolate him. It's for a little bit of thin value, it's more to clear my isolation than anything else, because I don't particularly want the pot to go multi-way. I'll probably have to stack off against this guy. Because even though I expect to have the worst hand, just the fact he hasn't got much more money, I certainly can't fold, so I can't fold. That's my only other option. I kind of expected to get it in quite bad there. It's a bit of a shame. That could be a little bit thin on the river there. I'm conscious that I'm making a few mistakes here because of he's a little bit fast in terms of like trying to add commentary to what I'm doing too. When I'm playing 7 tables, I'm just completely focusing. I'm finding it fine. I'm also not tiling. I'm cascading. So the table just pop up all the time. They're constantly popping up at you. It's quite easy to get into a nice rhythm when you're darting your mouse all around the table and try to commentate. It does get a little bit harder. This guy's got a reasonably high 3-bet. I'm going to defend the King Jack suited. That may have been a loose defend. May have been a loose defend. I'm not going to see what this board against the guy with that stack size. With no equity when I get called or raised. And actually got a little bit of a quiet spell for the first time in the video. It has seemed to be quite a busy video, quite a few interesting spots that I think will hopefully make for interesting viewing. I haven't had opportunities to discuss them as much as I would have liked. But hopefully make for interesting viewing and give you something to think about, you know, because I mean, if I make a play that's bad or I make a play that you don't agree with, the purpose of the videos is to get people thinking, is to make people think, to challenge what I'm doing, to challenge my thought processes. If you back that, you're then opening your mind to your own thought processes more. I've been 3-bet here by a guy with a 3.5, so 3-bet plays 18-16 from the cut-off versus my under the gun open. I think that's a trivial fold there with the ace queen off. I don't even think it's close. Some people may well disagree, but for me that's not close. This guy's playing 43-43. This guy, I'm not going to get squeezed by him, doesn't look like he's too active. Going to fold the Queen Jack down here. And I'm calling this hand. I mean, I don't think it's going to be the best, but the guy's playing, well, looks to be quite bad aggressive with a shortish stack, so I'm happy to widen my range a little bit just to try and play more pots with him. I doubt I'm ever going to make too many big mistakes against him. And even when I do, they're not going to be ultra costly because of his stack size. So these are the sort of players I'm frequently looking to play pots with. These are the low hanging fruit that that we get to pick quite often. This wouldn't be a terrible board to see bet. We have 2 overcards, a backdoor draw, sorry, backdoor straight draw and a backdoor flush draw. And seat one. The guy in the small blind looks like he was capable of folding, so I kind of think I'm only need to get through the fishy looking big blind. Here we're just going to start value betting against this Jopana, whatever his name is. Set mine here for obvious reasons. I don't always set mine, but if I'm going to set mine, it's going to be in these exact spots against under the gun and the caller, because I think we have really good implied odds. Hopefully I'm going to get the opportunity to check raise here, and hopefully I won't be set oversetted. When he doesn't see bet into this guy with a 760 stack, I'm going to never expect him to have a really strong hand, so I'm just going to slow play. And hopefully the guy with this other stack here will just shove the turn, or make a size that commits him. I'm not overly worried about the club. It's a bad card for us. It's one of the worst cards we could have seen. But he's not going to change my plan at all. And yeah, that was the worst card in the deck for us. But we make a decision to slow play a hand like that, I kind of think we're obliged to stick to the plan, especially against somebody who doesn't have that many chips. I bet fold this turn for some very thin value. I'm just going to check by the river. I think it's too thin to bet the river too. But we won. Hopefully this guy does something. Check call wasn't my idea, wasn't my first choice of things, but again now, due to his stack size and the pot size, there's no way he can bet fold this turn, so he's going to bet big. He shows I'm going to try call it off. There do seem to be quite a lot of these players on this site that buy in for 35 blinds or whatever it is. And at first when I saw them, I presumed they were all like semi-pro short stackers. I actually don't believe that's true now. I think most of them are just like bad aggressive sort of players, you know, nothing special. They certainly don't employ what I would describe as a professional short stackers sort of strategy. Not the best part to see bet, but we'll give it a whirl. I'm not going to squeeze here because both of these players look really quite tight over a small sample, so I'm just going to give the hand up. That might be a tight fold, but I've got two players both with single figure VPIPs and PFRs, both interested in the pot, and I've got King Queen off out of position. I don't think I'm giving too much up there by folding. So this video is going to go on for around 45 minutes again, so we've got around another 15 minutes to go. At this point, if anyone's stuck with it, they'll probably enjoy what they're seeing, so it's a good time to mention that I am a part-time micro stakes coach. I am currently working with around a group of 18 people to varying degrees of skill and frequency with which they use me. I'm always looking to take on more students. I do believe I have a talent for helping people who are struggling at 5-10, 5-L, 10-L, 25-L, just to make sense of the game a little bit. You might think that you're playing poker and you're not doing too well. You might think you've got a bit of a grasp of it, but whereas they can't win. If you are like that, just try a session with me. I think I have a real knack and a real flair for just taking those sort of players, ironing out a couple of leaks, spotting a couple of ways that we can improve, and really just helping you kickstart your poker career. So if you are one of those players, or even if you're a long-term losing player that's decided they want to get a little bit better at this game, then yeah, just give me a shot. My rates are really, I believe, very reasonable. I can provide testimonials, and yeah, just if you are thinking about it, if you're watching my videos, just go for it. You can just take one session. If it's not for you, it's not for you. It's not a problem. I'm going to make a small 4-bet here as a bluff against somebody who, over a small sample, just seems to be 3-bet happy. So he's going to make a 19 big blind 4-bet. I'm going to fold if he 5-bets me, because King Queen is never going to be in good shape in that situation. Wow, it's made it really small. So now, this is what I wasn't expecting. This is not part of the plan. And I actually don't really know what the correct play is in this situation, to be completely honest. I'm just going to fold. And that could be a big mistake. I'd be very interested. What I might do is timestamp that hand in the video, and it was 31 minutes in, because I'd be very interested to see what, if I know there are some really strong players on Reddit that sometimes watch my videos. I'd be very interested to see what they thought of my overall line there, because I'm not sure I'm fond of it at any point. Obviously the open's fine. Not sure about the 4-bet, and I'm certainly not sure that folding to that size 5-bet is a good play. So yeah, I would definitely be seeking some feedback on that one. I probably should have made a better plan than I had. I guess my plan was just a 4-bet fold. Sorry, 5-bet folds. Sorry, not 5-bet fold, 4-bet fold. I guess that was my plan all along. It's just when they make it that size. Well, my plan was to 4-bet fold, but when they make it that size, then I'm not sure it's right to fold. This guy's opened 4 out of 5 small blinds so far, so we're just 3-betting with our ace 10. Flop to set here on a good board for people to see bet on, so we're definitely going for a check raise. And he didn't see bet, which now kind of means he's probably just got nothing. Then you could try and show my ace 9 down, expect to have the best hand. Don't see any reason to bet. I don't see any reason to call either against that type of player. So now I'm just kind of left with hopefully maybe try and get some triangles from Queen X. If he has Queen Jack, Ace Queen, I can see him checking that kind of hand back sometimes. I'm going to 3-bet my 9s. I'm going to 3-bet 5-bet shove them. That's the plan. If he 4-bets me, he doesn't. So yeah, I've quite enjoyed making a video with stats. It's not really the best in terms of like how many hands I've had on people, which is a shame. But it's just 3-bet me a moment ago. I can't remember the guy's name. I think it might be, and I think I'm not going to fall to him. But I get the feeling this guy could be a monkey. And he looks pretty solid with his sweep of his PFR, and it could just be situationally he's just had it in 2 spots. But no, there could be some spewing coming here. What would I do if I'd flopped a flush here? I would raise. I would definitely raise. So I'm going to raise, and just if he jams on me, I'm just going to get it, because how bad can it be when you've got the nut flush draw? I mean, obviously it can't be great when he jams, we're always going to be behind. But is he really going to want to stack up with just like an ace jack here, or an ace queen? Maybe if he has the ace queen with the queen of spades, he might. But I think I'm going to get a lot of folds there. I'm getting 3-bet a lot, really small too. Again, I'm just going to call here. I'm going to defend because he's betting that small. Clearly going to check raise. I've been checking min raised by a 41/2, which is never all much fun. It's never much fun when that happens. So check raising here. I'm just going to fold here to this guy. I don't particularly want to stack off. And here now we have a really trivial shove on the turn. Expect to get called by ace king. Yeah, basically you expect to get called by king x a lot of the time. I'm not quite sure why I didn't just put it all in there, but there we go. And we win. And I think the problem he had there in that spot was he just didn't make his 3-bet big enough. I mean, he did in terms of, yeah, he's got me to call with the worst hand, but he's not really forced me to make a huge mistake at any point during that hand. His 3-bet, he's just asking me to put $1 more in. It's kind of just not enough, in my opinion, and again, there could be a whole host of people who tell me that's nonsense. But for me, he needs to be putting more pressure on me than just asking me to put 5 more blinds in. Here I'm just bet folding against this guy all the way down, and may consider checking the river. If everything breaks, then now I'm just going to fold. Because again, it's a 36-0, and I've got one pair. And I don't believe he's ever, well, not ever, I should never say that was ever bluffing, but I don't think I'm in particularly good shape with my top pair crappy kicker. And you can actually see my stats at the bottom of the page, which makes a nice change. Here we are. I've played 19/14, which for me is positively lag. And I think I've been allowed to play that way more because I just feel way more confident playing with stats. Way more confident. Again, this guy hasn't made his 3-bet large enough considering how deep we are. I don't want people to just look at this and think, oh, this guy calls 3-bets out of position all the time. I can do it too. I typically don't. I don't like calling 3-bets out of position, but when people are just asking me to put $1 more in, it's either, oh, that's a misclick by the way with the ace king, and we're deep, or it's blind versus blind or something like that. It's going to be a lot bigger mistake to fold. Am I going to be comfortable paying off much here? No, I'm not. I think we have to call the flop. But I could be convinced to fold a lot of turns, particularly on that card. Now I know that's a card that he's, in theory, going to bluff at all the time. He should be like betting that card 100 with 100% of his range. But when he doesn't, it's kind of interesting. And now I'm going to make a block bet and try and call him, so to try and induce him to raise, so I can then call his bluff, if you will. Then you will make a bigger bet there. I think it's too easy for him to kind of just fold the weekend. I'm kind of wanting him to try to induce some kind of bluff here. Yeah, of course, there's some chance that he's got ace 10. I get that, and I could end up owning myself. But I'm doing this bet there specifically because we're deep to induce a raise from him. And he folded anyway. Here I didn't 3-bet the aces because even though it's a small sample size, the guy's got quite a high fold to 3-bet. So that was kind of interesting. And just gonna let the 10s go here. I'm actually going to check back this turn because I really it's a disaster if we get check raised here. It's a big disaster. We can induce some bluffs on the river as well if we, or some like weak value bets from hands we beat. And when we river the nuts, it's all good. Unfortunately, it looks like it doesn't have a club. So again, I'm just betting small because basically I don't expect him to be able to call with very much. so there's no point making a large bet. If you don't think someone's got a very strong range, there's not an awful lot of point in making a large value bet against it. So sorry about this time checking, right? Well, 5 more minutes. Yeah, so let me know what you think about this video. Have you enjoyed it more with the fact we've been using some stats? Has it made it more interesting? How's the speed been? I know I timed out personally, but from a viewer's perspective, has the speed of the video been okay? Has it been a little bit too much, too fast, too much action, too much going on? Has it been fine? Please do give me some feedback. I don't get as much feedback as I would like. So yeah, please do. Feedback, good or bad. You know, if you've got something bad to say, just say it. Just say it politely. I don't want being criticised. I'm not a big fan of being trolled, but I've no issue with people have legitimate criticism. I'm more than happy to listen to it. Again, each going to go for a finished value bet. Hopefully get called by Jack X. Looks like I could have a few draws. Every draw's pretty much missed there. There's a good chance he could look me up here with Jack X. This doesn't make an awful lot of sense. What checks back the turn and then raises this river? I'm going to call here just because it just makes sense. I'm aware I could easily be paying him off. I don't like paying off river raises. Oh shit. I don't like paying off river at time bank. I really need to work on this time bank issue because I was going to call there. I really hate paying off river raises, but I just have a hard time believing some of the c-bet stuff like checks back that turn and then all of a sudden wants to raise the river. Then we got a 13-7 limp under the gun. We've got isolated, not because I think we've got the best hand, just because I think it's a weak play and he's got every chance his range is going to be pretty much a lot of small pairs. If he limp raises me, I've got a trivial fold, but I can rep this all day. I think if he's hit this board, he's hit it with pocket twos exactly. Most of the time, here I'm 3-bet getting it in with the ace king. Here I'm c-betting just to make him fold all these hands that like pocket pairs that I've missed. Right, interesting here. I'm actually going to go for a check raise here. Because I'd like to get all the money on this street if I could. He didn't bite, which is a shame. And now if he shoves, I'm going to be quite nervous that he's got 2 jacks. But what can I do? I'm hoping I just gave up, by the way, in this hand. I didn't come up once he called. I wasn't interested in trying to bluff him anymore. And I'm just going to hope my 6 is now beating his pocket 3s or his pocket 5s. I'm just going to shove this, obviously. Oh, this time out it's getting really unnecessary. So I was going to shove there. I'm still going to shove. Oh, it's a lot thinner. It's a lot thinner now. But we still won. Yeah, so definitely, I'm going to bet him. I might just play 3 tables next time. But I think 3 will be fine. 2 will be maybe a bit slow. But then again, we only played 2 on IPoker on 888 most of the time. Yeah, this is the 3rd time I've timed out. Every one of them's been in a reasonably interesting spot. Fortunately, it didn't cost us anything the last time though. So I'm going to now just sit out my blinds next hand and hope you all enjoyed the video. I've certainly enjoyed making it. It's been fun. We're in quite a lot of fun spots. Yeah, it's nice to have a change of scenery from 888. c-betting my 2 overs and the back doors there. Checking here with a plan on calling a raise, I think. His c-bets I could raise actually because it looks like he c-bets too much. So in fact, yeah, I am going to raise. I'm just going to call here. I think I'm kind of obliged to barrel the turn at least, and then we'll consider on the river what we're going to do. I think when people call a check raise, then call a turn, and it runs out brick like this, I think the chance of us getting a fold are quite slim, so I'm just going to give up now. Oh wow, that does surprise me. Pleasantly surprises me, but it does surprise me. I'm really not sure what you could have put me on there to just give up. Maybe he thinks I have a king, and maybe he thinks I'm not folding, who knows, but yeah, I didn't expect to see him showing down that hand. Anyway, the sixes, clearly I'm never going to bet. I'm just going to try and show my hand down. Hopefully we can bink a flush on the river or something. I'm going to let the king 8 go, it's just too weak. So there we go, that is the end of the session. I hope you've enjoyed it, I know I certainly have. Thanks for watching, and the next video will probably be out towards the weekend. I am trying to stick to my shorter videos to a week now, so hopefully maybe sometime on Saturday the next video will be out. Take care till then.